Call this meeting to order. Roll call.
Madam Chair, Tonita Gudule Giron.
Present.
Commissioner Barbara Casey.
Here.
Commissioner Vince Howell.
Here.
Commissioner David Romero.
Here.
Commissioner Ember Davis.
Here.
Commissioner David Ulivari.
He will be absent at this meeting. We're hoping that he does arrive in time for the regular meeting. If not, we're going to teleconference him for the record.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence. I'm going to refer this to Commissioner Romero.
A moment of silence for all those that have passed since our last meeting, especially those that have been active in our community, and also for guidance that we make the right decision and we continue to stay ethical as possible.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioners. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Howell.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the excuse me, approve the agenda as is.
Do I have a second?
Sorry.
Roll call.
Commissioner Romero.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis.
Yes.
Commissioner Howell.
Yes.
Commissioner Casey.
Yes.
I have a motion by Commissioner Howell, a second by Commissioner Casey. Thank you, Madam Chair. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from April the 17th, 2019.
What is the pleasure of the board?
Chair,
Commissioner
I
Casey.
move approval of the minutes as they were presented. There were no errors.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Casey.
Yes.
Commissioner Romero.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis.
Yes.
Commissioner Howell.
Yes.
I have a motion by Commissioner Casey, a second by Commissioner Howell. Thank you, Madam Chair. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is public input. There is no one signed up for public input at this time.
Okay.
Next item on the agenda is presentation by Housing Authority Finance Report by our financial specialist, Natasha Martinez-Padilla.
Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners. In your packets this evening, you guys received your Housing Department Revenue and Expenditure Comparison Report through April 30th, 2019. It's a 31 year days. I think there was 31 days, but 10 months of our fiscal year have lapsed, 83% of our budget. As far as our accrued revenues, we have gotten accrued revenues for dwelling rent. We've billed out $473,736 billed dollars. For operating subsidy that we have accrued, it's $570,447. Our other income is a little bit higher than we did budget for, being that we did have move-outs. We had that large move-out for on Sagebrush when we had that fire, and then a couple other ones that kind of left us a little bit higher on that end. Nothing like major, but those move-outs did cause that bill to go up, and then windows and that stuff. So we are collecting a lot more of that than we had been, but you guys will see our write-offs next month. And then our transfer in that we've received of $187,433. So we're at 91%, so we are over what is expected. And then on the expenditure side, we're under, which is a good thing. Our employee expenses, we're at $491,587, and our operating expenses, we're at $394,077. We always want to keep in mind for operating expenses that we do have that betterments and improvements that's there, that we keep rolling over until we have enough to actually rehab units there on the Sagebrush side, those boarded up units. So when you do look at that amount, keep in mind that $176,000 of that is earmarked just for those improvements. Okay? And that puts us at 66% of the total budgeted expenditures.
Questions, comments? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Continue.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. The next item on the agenda is the Housing Director's monthly report. Housing maintenance staff prepared 5 units for move-ins in the month of April. There were 5 move-outs also in the month of April, and maintenance also continued to do work orders, groundkeeping, and other day-to-day operations. The waiting list manager continues to accept and process applications daily. At the end of the end of March, actually, April, there were 54 applicants on the waiting list, with 4 applicants that were processed for move-ins. I did want to report, we had mentioned that we were attending a smoke-free conference. The housing staff attended a smoke-free conference on May the 6th and 7th in Albuquerque. And at this conference, the Housing Authority was presented with this beautiful plaque here for 2019 Outstanding Industry Champion for Resident Support.
Congratulations, very good.
In part of the packets that we left next to the desk, there is a picture, or a few pictures of. Go ahead, Natasha.
Okay, so for the resident support, we are the only housing authority in the state of New Mexico that offers continued support for cessation for our tenants. We're the only housing authority that has taken the navigator training, so we have 2 cessation leaders in our in-house, so we don't actually have to contract out to Smoke Free New Mexico. Both Barbara and myself are certified to teach the class, which we offer on a monthly basis. Being that we do offer this to our tenants and we have extreme participation, we have 2 wonderful success stories, and those are our 2 tenants in the middle that are just amazing. They've really kicked their habit, and the one on the right actually has been attending our meetings for a year now. So she's been, continuously going. And then on the bottom picture is the committee, along with myself and our 2 residents that actually nominated us for this award and gave it to us. And we received it from them. They were just so inspired by their stories. I took them there. They told them, how they kicked the habit, the trials and tribulations that they've had to go through. It was really an awesome training. I actually held one of the workshops while we were there. So I held one of the workshops along with somebody from the American Lung Association on participation and as far as getting residents involved who are current smokers who are interested in quitting. Like we've told them in the past, it's not that, it's okay. It's not that we want them to quit, but it's a matter of they just can't smoke on the housing property. So that was kind of what we were recognized for. So it was awesome. It was really, really an honor to be recognized by all of them out of all of New Mexico. So thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioners, the next item on the agenda is the business items. Approval, disapproval of resolution number 19-23 to approve and adopt the Housing Authority's 2019 annual plan and 5-year capital fund plan.
Who's presenting?
I am.
Okay.
The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development requires housing authorities to develop an annual plan and capital fund plan to ensure a plan is in place for future improvements to the housing authority. So as in every year, we update our plan. There's really not too much. There wasn't any significant changes this year. So no significant amendments means it's pretty much the same as last year, besides us taking out like the significant amendment of being a smoke-free, because we are smoke-free now. As well as there hasn't been any significant changes as far as like the VAWA has been concerned, anything like that. So the plan is pretty much the boilerplate on how we've been going with everything. Of course, we still always include Mercadeo on there, and we always include our units back here because we are continuously trying to get those back online. And once we can get those online and once we can acquire additional funding or figure out what to do as far as the Mercadeo site goes, as far as like the Chariot meetings, sorry, and those go, I always say it wrong, sorry, then we can start moving that along as well. So in your packet, you'll see, and then I did put these on there. These are from the public input. These were the input that we got from the public. They did have phone numbers, so I didn't want to send them out like in advance, but then I gave them to you guys now. So they did have like the comments that came from them. We do have in our 5-year plan, we are budgeting for the majority of the stuff that is here. So that's kind of a good thing. So our recommendation is to approve or disapprove the plan. Do you have any questions?
Commissioner Howell?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Padilla, you had mentioned in your comments that the Macario site, there's action on it? Is there?
There's
what type
not
of
action on it. If you read, we just include it in here. So we always
Yes, on
include, we include that portion in there. And it's that we can't really, there they are. We can't really take action on it. So what I do is on the last part, on the strategy of addressing housing needs for our 5-year, on the last portion of that does have the paragraph that states, the City of Las Vegas Housing Authority is planning to explore options for the Macario Gonzalez property. The Housing Authority has adopted an affordable housing plan that identifies the need of the community related to housing. With that plan, Macario Gonzalez property is identified as an area that could be developed to provide affordable housing. There is also a New Mexico Consolidated Plan provided by the Mortgage Finance Authority, MFA, that is known as the Consolidated Plan for Housing and Community Development. It is intended to comprehensively fulfill 3 basic goals: providing decent housing, expanding economic opportunities, and providing a suitable living environment. These are the goals that we have for our community of Las Vegas, and believe these goals are attainable by utilizing the Macario Gonzalez property. In the future, the Las Vegas Housing Authority plans to hold public input and Sharia meetings to discuss the community's ideas for the site. We can discuss, but until we actually can provide funding for it, we can't necessarily move forward on it.
Are there attempts to get the funding?
Right now, we have 267 units on our ACC. So the contract that the City of Las Vegas holds with Housing and Urban Development, there's 267 units on that. Of those 267 units, housable, we only have 251. So every month, we take a hit of 16 units. So we are not getting funded, our full funding, because of that. Because our vacancy is there, if we have 2 units that are vacant, that are housable out of the 251, our number automatically drops, our vacancy automatically drops below 93%. So once our vacancy drops that low, then we have, it affects our quick ratio and kind of like the different calculations that HUD does to allocate our funding back to us. So what we concentrate on is the sooner we can get those ones housed, and that's why we're saving that money, and that's why, like I said, that $176,000 is earmarked to do rehabilitations in that area, is specifically so we could increase our vacancy, our occupancy. Once we increase our occupancy and decrease our vacancy, then we'll start seeing more money come in. Once we see those ratios and everything else changing, then that's when we have the opportunity to apply for additional funding. But right now, where it stands, I don't foresee us actually even being eligible per se.
But it's in the plan.
But it is in our plan. Like, we keep it in the plan because we want it there. And even if it's just 1 unit a year, 2 units a year, we're chipping away at that total.
Okay, thank you very much. Commissioner Casey?
Thank you. I was at the meeting the community meeting that you had, and I was really impressed with all the information that you gave us while we were there. And just for the, to let everybody else know, a lot of discussion took place about the Macario Gonzalez lot on Mills Avenue. And I see here on Capital Fund Program, 5-year action plan, work statement for year number 2, the 4th item says playground equipment and fencing. Where is that for?
That is actually site-wide.
Okay,
So that's site-wide. So that could be there, that could be up in Loudon, that could be in the Cayas. What I do is we don't exclude it because we are a scattered site. So technically, the city of Las Vegas, because we only have 267,000, I wish we had 267,000 units, but we don't. 267 units, and they're scattered throughout. We don't earmark it to a specific Calle Bonita, Calle Contenta,
Right.
Apache. We don't do that, so that where we see there's need, we can just do it, put the work there.
Okay, and the estimated cost you have there is $30,000?
Yes.
That's really kind of low.
It is, and mostly the reason that it is low, I need to increase all of those estimates. As you guys will see when we bring the budget next month, our capital fund did increase, so these numbers are all gonna actually inflate. Because our piggy bank in the EPIC just went up from 342,000 every year to 546,000 every year. So I have additional money that I can earmark out to those upcoming grants.
Because that was one of the concerns of the people who were there.
Yes.
And the other concern was the units that had been sold. And I don't know if you want to tell them a little bit about the discussion that took place about that.
So I know that there was a lot of questions, and every time we have a public input meeting, regardless of what we're actually talking about or what it's the public's opportunity to come in and ask us questions about pretty much anything. And so they did talk about the ineligibly sold units and what we were doing. We did let them know that we had bought back one of them and we're trying to chip them away as we can. We can't purchase back those units with any of these funds. So the housing funds cannot be used to purchase back units, to put back, to replace those units, nor can the federal funds be used to acquire land, to build them, anything like that. It has to either be defederalized funds, and we don't have any of those at housing, or come directly from general fund. So I did explain that to them. I know it was kind of like if you're not using the governmental funds and you don't understand that fund-based accounting, it makes it a little bit harder because you see these dollars and you're like, well, why can't you use those? But we really can't. We could use them to rehabilitate the units, but we can't use all of them. We've been diverting a lot of our attention to those, but we also need to make sure that we're maintaining the ones that are occupiable, that we have residents in currently.
I think that the description of the work categories and the amounts, estimated costs, I think are very good to have here, but again, I think that the estimated costs are rather low. And so I know that you do a really good job of keeping track of the money and putting it where it's most needed. So, $342,000 is nothing really for all that work that needs to still be done.
Yes.
Yeah.
And everything is completely fungible. So, anything that we can have, we can move it from year to year and amounts from year to year as well. So depending on how we're going to get everything categorized and spread out, that kind of depends on how we get the money and when things come up. Like we didn't budget for a water leak, for our pipes to break, that kind of stuff. But ultimately we have to get water running, so that's going to move money from one area to the other.
Okay, but what you're saying then is that the money will roll over.
Yes, it all rolls over.
Okay.
So anything we don't spend now rolls over to next year. This is just a 5-year forecasting plan. As the years change and as the money changes, we just keep going along with it. And in our piggyback changes, it's a real quirky system. I don't know a better word to put it, but they changed it. And so now in the lock system where we used to have the budget, it's no longer there. They grouped everything together, and now it's all in our EPIC system that budgets it all out. And what I do is I select everything, not that I'm gonna do everything that's on that selection. I could only do like 2 or 3 things, but in case priorities change or anything like that, it's all listed out.
Okay. Thank you. I have no other questions.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. Before we vote on this, I have a few concerns. First of all, and please don't take this personal, Commissioner Casey, you provided testimony to an item that you have to vote on. So that is
okay.
that's a conflict of
Yeah,
interest.
it is.
But I am going to go ahead, not only did you provide written testimony, you testified here today. So that's a conflict, but I'm going to defer that to the attorney to make certain that this plan is not compromised, okay? Through
Okay.
the voting process. Go ahead.
Commissioner Casey, I don't know if you feel that you could be fair and impartial in voting on this matter?
I believe I can, but I think that, to be absolutely proper, I will recuse myself from voting.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, what is the pleasure of the commission?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Howell.
excuse me. I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution number, let's see, I have the wrong one. No, it's the right one.
1923?
Yeah, 19-23, to approve and adopt the Housing Authority's 2019 annual plan and 5-year capital fund plan.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Howell?
Yes.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
And Commissioner Casey has recused herself.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you, Counselor. Commissioner Casey.
I don't, Davis and
Do we need to read the resolution into record?
I'm sorry?
Would you like us to read the resolution into record?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, City of Las Vegas Housing Authority Resolution.
Not the entire resolution. Do a synopsis of the actual resolution,
Okay,
because you're going to introduce it into the record regardless, correct?
yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'll do it.
Well, read the entire resolution if it's short.
Oh, it's really short.
It's
Okay.
really short. City of Las Vegas Housing Authority Resolution 19-23, a resolution approving and adopting the Las Vegas Housing Authority's 2019 annual plan and 5-year capital fund plan. Whereas it has been deemed necessary by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to establish a new PHA plan, annual plan for 2019 and a 5-year capital fund plan, and whereas the PHA plan has been set out by Title 6, of the Civil Rights Act and is required in accordance with the revised date 7-88. And whereas the PHA produced this plan in accordance with HUD outlined procedures and conducted public input and resident advisory board meetings as required. And whereas the Las Vegas Housing Authority Board of Commissioners have reviewed this plan, believe that it is consistent with the federal regulations and in the best interest of the department, do hereby approve the plan as follows: the 2019 annual plan, 2019 5-year capital fund plan. Now therefore be it resolved by the Housing Authority Board of Commissioners that the plans mentioned above are hereby approved and adopted this 15th day of May, 2019.
Okay, thank you very much. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Yes, ma'am.
I was just going to say that I would like to request that the record reflect that I recuse myself from the vote because I unknowingly and unintentionally, by participating, I, was not allowed to vote. And so I would like that in the record.
Commissioner Casey, I have notified council on numerous occasions about providing testimony. But every year, at least 3 times.
Well, I didn't think of it as testimony. I was
Yeah.
just participating in a community meeting.
Okay.
And so I would like that reflected in the minutes.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Commissioner Romero? Roll call.
We already did approval of this item.
I'm sorry?
We already received the.
That's what I asked Councilor Howell. Okay, thank you very much.
The next item on the agenda is executive session.
Thank you, Council. Do we have any need for executive? Okay, need a motion to adjourn?
Commissioners' reports.
Oh, Commissioners' reports, we passed ours. Commissioner Davies. You see, we're running almost late, so I'm trying to rush you, I'm sorry.
I don't have anything at this time.
Commissioner Romero.
I just want to congratulate you guys on the award.
Thank you.
I wish, I know you had mentioned it before, what was happening. Just, sorry I couldn't be there, but congratulations, and it's something that, that it's a reflection of, what you guys have been doing there and maintaining despite, not being permanent, Barbara, but thank you for all you do with housing.
Thank you.
And all the employees also.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Casey.
Yeah. I want to thank all the staff at Housing for the good job that you do. And congratulations on being the only housing authority in the whole state to have received that wonderful award, and we're very proud of you. Thank you so much for continuing the good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hall.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I too want to congratulate you and your staff. It's really good that we got that award. It's important that we stop smoking and things like that. But I also am very proud of our housing authority, and I'm hoping that our Albuquerque HUD is also proud of us, and the federal HUD also.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, they are. In fact, we had two of our HUD analysts at this. They were there for the presentation, so
Okay.
they were very proud of us
So
also.
they're much aware of what you do.
So if you want to put a name to the faces, on the top picture, on the top right corner, the lady in blue that's standing next to me is Miss Mandy Griego, and the gentleman next to her is Mr. Julian Barilla from U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Okay, thank you very much.
And then Rebecca
Congratulations.
Padilla is from the American Lung Association, all the way to the left, so.
Great.
Great, great. Okay, we have no need for executive session. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Howell?
Yes.
Commissioner Casey?
Yes.
I have a motion by Commissioner Casey, a second by Commissioner Davis. Thank you, Madam Chair. Motion carries.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.